A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation.
Thank God it's Tuesday, and it all begins again here at Daytona International Speedway. It's Venom Truck Series time, race fans. Season number 7 is about to get underway. It's the 7th season for the Venom Truck Series, but it's the 3rd season here on Turn 200, and it just feels right to have the Rocketman Memorial 85 back live on the air here on Turn 200. Cannot tell you how excited we are. So happy to have everybody back with us. It's Tommy Cook. It's the GOAT, Matt Williamson. Chat's already popping off. We got a lot of people anticipating this one here tonight. 85 laps after 2 duel races to open up the 7th season of competition. Matt Williamson, are we excited? That's not a good question. How excited are we?
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no question about it. We are excited and ready for Season 7 of the Venom Truck Series. Seems like it hasn't been that long, yet it seems like it's been too long. We are finally back here on Tuesdays and ready to kick things off in a big, big way here at Daytona for the Rocketman Memorial 85.
Yeah, it's all things beginning again here at the World Center of Racing. Most things have stayed the same. A couple of drivers have switched teams. A couple of drivers have switched numbers. We've got 3 of our 5 rookie drivers here with us tonight. I don't believe we have a full field like we did last season, which is a good thing. Let's see, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35 drivers ready to take after it here tonight. And that is about the perfect number here for the season opener. So this will be the 5th time that the Venom Truck Series will take to Daytona. And of course, we've always got the handy-dandy little stat sheet here to keep in mind. Some of the drivers in the record books, some of the drivers to keep your eyes on here.
Yeah, we got some drivers that we're going to be looking for here. Obviously, we have a lot of the big players. And anytime that we come to a super speedway track, there's some drivers that we're looking towards, and there's a lot of them that have won here in previous seasons. Kyle Zittel, Jeremy McKinnon, Andy Poliski are going to be 3 of them, and Jeremy McKinnon, who was looking very strong in another super speedway race just last night. He is looking to really push the issue here, I'm sure. Not sure he really had the best qualifying effort as I'm looking at the lineup here, but be assured he will make his way to the front quickly.
And that is what we've got in for the duels. He could do just that. 2 10-lap dashes to set the inside and outside lines. Of course, Duel 1, which will get underway here in about 10 seconds, will set the inside line. One driver that does not have to worry about it is Nathan Reynolds, because he will take the quick time and lead the field to green. Carson Mitchell is back in the field here tonight, and he will qualify on the outside pole. So you'll see Carson lead the field to green in heat race number 2. But it's time for heat race number 1, or rather duel number 1. Here at Daytona, how about Nathan Reynolds? And he's a rookie in this series, but you've seen him racing on Turn 200 in other series. Matt Schlosser making his first career start tonight. He will line up on the outside of the front row. Nathan Paliwota has the track record here in Venom Truck Series competition at Daytona. Led a lot of laps here last season. He starts in 3rd. Then it is Chad Stearns back with it here tonight. He will line up on the outside of the 2nd row. Kevin Sargent starting 5th, exactly where he finished after sneaking through the big one last season. Then Paul Ellison lines up in spot number 6. Eric Breeding and Brody Gunter on row number 4. Oz Kanar and Jeremy McKinnon then on row 5. Cole Maxwell, Paul Sargent on row 6. Another driver looking to make their first start here tonight, Tyler Logan, will start in 13th. Gary Clark to his outside. Kyle Dumig and Mark Dillon on row number 8. Kenneth Graves and Ryan Borboom, your 18 driver. Starting lineup here for duel number 1. Matt Williamson, it looks like a lovely sunny day out in the virtual World Center of Racing. What are some of the track conditions that we're looking at here?
Well, as we take a look, it's going to be cool here at Daytona today. Humidity's up quite a bit, 85%, but the track temperature is only 81 degrees, so that is a good number for the drivers here today. It'll take a minute for those tires to kind of heat up a little bit, but of course here at Daytona, that's really not a big issue. They will have plenty of grip to make as many of the bold moves as they want to here, and I'm sure there'll be a plenty here in the duel.
So Tyler Logan, I think, just had a disconnect, unfortunately, so he will either have to start from the pits or just accept a deep starting spot here in the feature. But 17 other drivers are out on the track and looking to go. 10 laps and no cautions is the name of the game here. We already got Rodney Matney hanging out with us, and Stickers McQueen, who's usually cheering on Rodney, just hanging out with us here. Hope to see Rodney back, he said, around or after Christmas time. So we're very excited for that. Wish you were here, but completely understand. And, of course, John Kay, the infamous All-State. What are some of the other nicknames that are passing me by? He is in duel number 2. We'll be starting on the inside of row number 4, but hanging out in the chat with us. Taking in all of the glory that is Tuesday night trucking here with the Venom Truck Series. Duel number 1 being led to the green by the reigning series champion, John Kay's teammate, Nathan Reynolds. And rookie Matt Schlosser. Pace truck is off, and we are underway. The Nathan show on the inside line already going to work. Paliwota pushing Nathan Reynolds. Last season's rookie of the season trying to pass this rookie by. But Schlosser now getting some good help from Chad Stearns.
Yeah, and Schlosser, we're going to call him a rookie here in the Venom Truck Series, but trust me, he's no rookie to truck racing.
Now, quite successful on our Monday night broadcast in the trucks. Oh, and Paliwota with some blinking there.
Big time.
And Kevin Sargent was going to pull up to the 6. And all of that has allowed Matt Schlosser to get a nose out in front, but not clear on Nathan Reynolds. Top line has started to stack up here, though. Brody Gunter a bit out of line, has to get back into line rather quickly. Stearns and Ellison. Gunter, McKinnon, Paul Sargent, all sort of weeble-wobbling here on the top side.
Yeah, they're trying to get a handle on this truck. We talked about it a little bit last week in our POV stream of the Pro-Am race, but we'll talk about it more here tonight. This truck, it is a little flighty, a little floaty, whatever you want to call it. It moves around on you when you don't want it to, and it's a handful. So you got to be really careful with where you're pushing, how you're pushing, and it's gonna be a challenge for the drivers here tonight. That's for sure.
It is certainly a handful. You and I both agreed on that. So do most of the drivers. And that setup did not change. The only thing that changed, maybe, is somebody's steering ratio, but the window for that has now passed. Still Schlosser on the top line here. And the top line is doing their best to get something going, but it's so tough with a nervous truck. And now here's Gunter with help from McKinnon. They're going to look to the third line here.
And there's the aggressive moves that we expected from Jeremy McKinnon. Looks like Schlosser moves up.
Oh, Gunter in the wall.
He covers off the third lane, but they're going to move backwards in a hurry. And there goes Nathan Palawota.
Palawota now to the second line as the third line disintegrates. 6 trying to go to the lead. He might be clear with help from Chad Stearns. Stearns looking to get clear, not quite. See if Palawota's going to drop, and he will. May have had some help getting down there, but he makes the move nonetheless.
And just like that, push from Reynolds nearly got Palawota completely sideways there.
Yeah, what I think you're about to say was just like that, Schlosser all the way to the back of the field, just about. 17 of the 18 trucks in this lead pack.
Yeah, and that's how quickly it happens. You make one bad move, and everybody is going to be quick to jump. Wow, that outside line's getting really stacked up there behind Stearns.
It's almost like an element of handling, what we're starting to hear with the next-gen cars at Daytona and Atlanta in particular, where these trucks handling becomes more and more of an issue. That's certainly going to be the case here if they're all dancing around like this early.
And you see a lap truck in front of him. That is Tyler Logan, who unfortunately got disconnected right before the race started. He's now reconnected, but he is going to be a lap down now. Actually, I think he's about 2 or 3 laps down.
I think that was his 3rd lap down, and unfortunately no cautions for him. He's going to have to hope for a big wad-up to gain some positions. Otherwise, he will be starting in 34th. 33rd.
Wow, you see a lot of movement from the drivers. I think that's going to be a common theme here all night.
We're coming to put lap 7 on the board. Palawota leading the inside. Chad Stearns leading the outside. And 2 drivers who have finished on the podium in this race, Reynolds and Ellison. As we are 3 wide, further back of the pack. Now it gets sorted out. Paul Ellison said he was just trying to cool the truck off, so maybe being a little too close to Chad Stearns here. Now Reynolds going to take advantage of the top line fading. He'll pull up right in front of Stearns. These two have spent a lot of time on track battling. This time they're working together. They're both clear. Oh, Stearns was clear, doesn't take it. Palawota was charging. So the Nathans just keep swapping the lead on the bottom.
Wow. Outside line way out of shape. McKinnon actually pulls out to the 3rd line, and he does have some help.
Oh, 3 wide and a truck blinking. Unfavorable conditions, to say the least. 3 laps to go in duel number 1.
That's a heck of a band name right there.
3 wide and a truck blinking.
Yep.
You know, that's I do like that a lot, actually.
McKinnon can't quite seem to get the run to work there in that third lane. Pulls back in. If nothing else, just to regroup and try another run at it.
That top line just bunches together so quick. And it's pushers, pushing, pushers.
I mean, when they can get it together, it's fast. I think it's the preferred line, but it's just so hard to actually get it together correctly. You see the wiggle of the rear end of the truck from Palawota pushing Nathan Reynolds. That thing just fishtailed the whole way through turn 4.
Here we go. Ellison now to the outside. I think his hand got forced by McKinnon, who's coming with a head of steam. Gary Clark going to pull up behind Paul Ellison on the top side, but they are faded. And Ellison again says he's overheating.
I guess Ellison still got that quali tape on.
Let's hope not. This is it. Final lap. I'm guessing somebody in the 12 truck might be looking to make a move here. There he goes. Just as soon as I say it, he's got help from a satellite teammate in Brody Gunter, but the help is not forming up behind. Here's Palawota now, jumps up to the top.
McKinnon tried the crossover move to get to the middle. It does not work.
Stacking up on the bottom. Stern shuffled out. Gives a shot to Kevin Sargent. Reynolds on the inside. Palawota on the outside. Oh, a wiggle from Palawota. Here's McKinnon. He'll fall back in the line. They touch. Who's got the advantage? Reynolds is going to take it. And they crash behind. With help from Kevin Sargent, who's going to sneak through the big one again. Sargent will finish second. Palawota in third. McKinnon and Stearns and everybody else crashes across the line.
Let's try to get a quick replay before the session advances on us here.
I don't think you're going to get it.
Nope, we did not get it.
Well, it was a good try. So now we'll gear up for duel number 2. Can we get the starting lineup on the screen, Matt Williamson?
We absolutely can. Take it away,
All
partner.
right, there we go. So Carson Mitchell looking to do what Nathan just did and keep the top spot on race pace alone. Steve Roman then will line up to his outside. Kyle Zittel, maybe one of the betting odds favorites here tonight to win his second Rocketman Memorial. He starts third in the second duel. Jan Van Leer won this duel last season. He starts in fourth. Garrett Rainey and Ryan Dye then on row 3. Infamous John Kay starting in 7th. The Season 5 Series champion Andy Poliski rolls off in 8th. Luke Peterson and TJ Bartell round out your top 10 starters. It's Will Salamone and Austin Holyfield on row 6. Michael Dean and Brantley Gainey, teammates back there on row 7. Tyler Berger, the debuting Zach Lockett, starting in 16th. And Corey Rutherford rounds out the field here for duel number 2. That was a pretty exciting opening duel. A lot of things happened in there on the last lap.
Yeah, great duel. Sometimes we see a crash early on, and of course, I don't think we really mentioned it, but there are no cautions in the duels, so if a crash does occur, you just got to keep on trucking. Pun intended, yes. And but really, no crashes there. Kenneth Graves did go around there in turn 3 on the final lap, but nothing other than that until everybody was going across the finish line, and everybody just kind of jumbled up together, trying to get every inch that they could.
Eddie V 737 was cheering on Silky. I'm trying to think of who that is. You got any clues?
Your guess is as good as mine on that one. Could be one of the rookies. You never know.
It could be. Absolutely. But Rodney Madney saying good job to Kay Sarge, his teammate, Raging Moose Racing. Kevin Sargent, I think it's becoming less and less of a secret. He is good at survival here at the super speedways. So he will get a start pretty close to the front after his performance in duel number 1. Who will do the same here from this entire duel will be starting on the outside line. So who wants the outside pole and how bad do they want it? Carson Mitchell and Steve Roman. On the front row, we are underway. Second is Paul Ellison. I would never guess that in a million years.
Well, we got a new nickname for Paulie, and he's got a new truck paint scheme as well this season, a new color scheme nonetheless. So
Ryan Dye, who's also in this field with a new paint scheme, said it's weird to see Paul in purple, and I agree, but it does look good.
Well, you and I are.
Yeah, we're partial to purple.
Yeah, we're pretty partial to the color purple. If you couldn't tell by the Turn 200 logo, but Carson Mitchell leading it in another great-looking truck, the HendrickCars.com 17. I wonder where he got that paint scheme from.
Not sure. It's on the tip of my tongue. Mitchell, a part-time racer last season, 4 times a winner in Venom Truck Series competition. Leading the way here at Daytona with help from the infamous KZ53. The decent one, Kyle Zittel in second. Steve Roman still trying to make the outside work here.
And we've got a lot of different trucks out on the track here tonight. Everybody wanting to show off their brand new paint schemes that they've got for the season.
They all look good, and these guys just pour their hearts into. You can tell this is a painters league as much as it's a racers league, because they always just roll out some great looking trucks. Oh, Vroman right down onto the side of Kyle Zittel. Top line isn't getting nearly as stacked up here.
Not getting as stacked up, but they're also not getting that great of runs either right now.
True. Bottom gets stacked up that time. Here comes Vroman. Vroman to the lead. Not quite clear. Mitchell now with the run.
Jan Van Leer's all over the back of Vroman here and actually dips out. I think he dipped out to get some air.
There is every chance that... Oh, we got a blinker on the top side. Is that...
That was Ryan Dye, I think.
It's Poliski. But Poliski reappears. And that has really broken this top line up.
Well, not only that, but you see Jan Van Leer, he goes way high on entry into the corner. I don't know if that's by design or just ill handling, but...
Well, there's every chance that this session, since it isn't technically the race, it's still set to qualifying and therefore would automatically be set to qualifying tape. That would be unfortunate, but I think it's very possible, especially with how much we're seeing these drivers move around from air.
Well, the sessions definitely started going wonky on me. My lap counter was actually working until about 2 or 3 laps ago. So it is not 9 laps to go. Tommy will have to tell you. I think it'll be 5 laps to go here at the line.
Yes, indeed. It will be 5 laps to go when they cross the stripe. It's always the duels that do this to us, and we'll have to have a quick little reset during the 5-minute warm-up period after this. While Matt's messing around with that, we might try and talk to our duel winners right quick. We have yet to determine who will win duel number 2 as there's some shuffling in the back. I think that was Rutherford that just found his way up into the wall, and he had help. And now here's Ryan Dye trying to take it 3 wide.
And Ryan Dye and Andy Poliski now.
Oh, Dye. Oh, boy. Dye and Poliski can't quite get hooked up there.
Well, they about hooked all right.
Yeah.
Dye just about got hooked right into the wall. Oh, there's
bottom.
contact on the apron. Salamoni and Peterson.
All over the place here. Again, that's not a statement on the drivers. This truck is absolutely a handful, and it's proven that time and time again. And we're not even underway with the actual race yet. This is just the prelims.
Wow.
3 wide still.
They are
now here goes Jan, and wow. Looking more like a slinky than a line here. Oh, Poliski contact with the wall. And the top line.
Oh, Ryan Dye.
Dye into the wall. The top line is disintegrated again. 3 laps to go with the line. Looks a lot calmer if you're just looking at Carson Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell is loving this out front. Oh, Garrett Rainey's pulled up in front of John Kay now. Big hole in the bottom if somebody would like to take it.
And
but it's going to close quickly.
These 2 teammates are going to push and push hard. Rainey, a podium finisher in the Rocketman Memorial last season, trying to get to the lead, and he is, and he's clear if he wants to take it. John Kay not going to have that same opportunity as Mitchell with a big push from Kyle Zittel. And now as soon as Roman got to the back bumper of John Kay, those top 2 look squirrely again. Two to go.
2 to go, and Rainey able to lead it at the line thanks to the big pushes from John Kay in the 2.
Driver's out of shape. Bottom is starting to break apart just a bit. They should be able to get reformed here. It's Garrett Rainey leading the outside line with help from John Kay, Carson Mitchell, and Kyle Zittel, the 2 on the bottom. Again, Rainey clear. John Kay not clear, and the bottom is coming again.
Roman all over the back of Kay. It's an uncomfortable position.
White flag this time.
Ryan Dye and Andy Poliski pull out again.
Top line breaks apart. Not what Rainey and Kay want to see. Poliski into the wall. And into the wall harder. Kay with a big push to Rainey. They'll have to go it alone. A block from John Kay to Steve Froman. Froman now will pull in line behind Rainey. It's done Garrett no favors. As Carson Mitchell with control. Is Kyle Zittel going to make a move? He looks to the outside. Zittel! It's a dead heat at the line. Kyle Zittel by 5 1/1000ths. The decent one takes it at the stripe. And a well-timed maneuver to place himself on the front bumper of Garrett Rainey. Kyle Zittel wins duel number 2.
Wow. The fellas are getting after it, that's for sure.
Absolutely. All right, what do you need to do? Do we need to do a soft reset here?
Well, usually it fixes itself, but
yeah,
boy, I don't know. The ticker has never gone away and has continued to be I don't know what you would call it. It's not working. We'll just put it that way.
All right. Well, what do we do here?
Well, I guess I'll go for the reset. I'm not sure it'll work quite as I would like, but we'll go ahead and go for it anyways.
Oh, it's always the duels. We got lucky last season, but now we're 2 for 3.
And even if I close it out, it still wants to go up. Try rebooting, see what happens. And it's still there. Well,
All right. Well,
this is never a good feeling.
no, certainly not. Well, we have about 3 minutes here to, I don't know, do whatever it's going to take, I suppose. Otherwise, well, I would say we could roll without it just completely, but it sounds like it's just not going away.
No, it's just there. It's
Love doing the technical stuff here live on air. Hopefully everybody's enjoying it. Who's hanging out with us? Let us know. Eddie V737 still in the chat. Just for the record, Paul Ellison. Looking through the starting grid, he is going to be starting fairly deep, I would say, 17th. About halfway through this 35 truck field.
all right. Well, I got it to go away at least.
That's a good first step.
And I think we are working.
All right.
So we're back.
You love to see it. Well, I would pull in our dual winning drivers, but neither of them are in the server. One of the changes that took place during the offseason was Kyle Zittel disbanding Zittel Inc. and joining Superkick Revival Racing, which is, of course, an offshoot of the Alabama game. So I'm sure Nathan and Kyle are all in the same room in a different Discord server, so we can't pull either of them in, unfortunately. But they would both be pretty pumped up, I would imagine.
Yeah, and a couple of them were supposed to be on our car inside cameras here tonight as we take a look at Nathan Reynolds, who is the owner of Car Inside, the YouTube channel. Of course, if you don't know already, he will put out some videos to help you qualify as well as you can. Some little tips and tricks for qualifying at the Truck Series racetracks throughout the season in the official series.
Yes, and something is linked in the bio. Now that I think about it, I don't think I changed it for this week, but if you're watching this after the race, or after it's gone live, it will be current and updated. It just isn't if you're watching right now. But that's all right. You don't need to practice right now. You need to take in all the glory that is the Venom Truck Series. Because two pretty darn good duels here. Challenging conditions for these drivers as well. And it's all setting up for 85 laps in memory of our friend, Merv Turner. They called him the Rocketman. This is the third Rocketman Memorial, I do believe. The first one was when we started broadcasting here on Turn 200. Started broadcasting the Venom Truck Series here on Turn 200. So, racing for Merv here tonight. And if anybody from the Turner family is watching, hello. And hopefully this does it right, because it's done it right here the last two seasons for sure. Tonight, I don't think is going to be any different. As warm-up, go ahead.
Not from what we've seen in the duels. I think we are in for quite the night here.
I think so as well. As the warm-up period is over, the time for talk is just about over, although we're going to be doing it for the next 85 laps. It's time for the Rocketman Memorial 85, and the starting lineup. Nathan Reynolds and Kyle Zittel, your dual winners, start first and second. Kevin Sargent, Carson Mitchell on row 2. Nathan Palmawoda, Garrett Rainey on the third row. Jeremy McKinnon and Austin Holyfield on row 4. Chad Stearns, Steve Roman, row 5. Eric Breeding and Luke Peterson on row 6. Brody Gunter and TJ Bartell on row number 7. Then it is Oz Kanar and Ryan Dye on row number 8. Paul Ellison and Will Salamoti, row 9. And your top 20 is rounded out by Paul Sargent and Jan Van Leer. Ryan Borboom and Zach Lockett, 21st and 22nd. Gary Clark and Michael Dean on row number 12. Mark Dillon Jr. and Tyler Bergert on row 13. Cole Maxwell and Brantley Gainey on row 14. Kyle Dimmick and John Kay starting back at 30th. Matt Schlosser, 31st. Andy Poliski, 32nd. Kenneth Graves, Corey Rutherford, and Tyler Logan. 35 trucks, 85 laps. Matt, I don't think I updated our script for the fuel window, but we've done this a time or two. I think you probably have a pretty good guess of it.
Yeah, of course, we got 85 laps around Daytona here tonight. Fuel window's probably going to be around 35, 40 laps, somewhere right in there. Probably looking more towards the 40 mark, if I'm being honest. But with this setup, I don't know. They might have to kind of use the fuel a little bit more than they would otherwise have to. Either that or they're going to use it less. I mean, when you're not real comfortable with the truck, you might actually lay off that loud pedal a little bit just to kind of hang with the pack behind you. So may be able to save a little fuel here early on in the runs, but regardless, I think it's going to end up being a two-stop race. But of course, depending on where the cautions come out, it could be one more or maybe even one less if you play your cards right.
And you know, two things to keep in mind with handling being an issue. 3 extra sets of tires in the pits. The other key is you want to be able to actually make it to the pit stop. No fast repairs.
Yeah, that's the biggie here. As always, no fast repairs in the Venom Truck Series. You know, it's always interesting when we start a new season. We have some new drivers that everybody's not familiar with. Will they be ultra aggressive or will they lay back? It's about time to find out.
Pace car is off. The reigning series champion Nathan Reynolds, Season 4 Rocketman Memorial winner Kyle Zittel are in control of the field, and we are underway at Daytona. Season 7 officially gets the green flag.
Good start for most of the field up front here. Spread out in the back, but that's to be expected. Probably a lot of drivers just wanting to hang out right now as Kyle Zittel straight to the lead with the help of Carson Mitchell.
Mitchell and Garrett Rainey all get clear on Nathan Reynolds. That might also be by design. 3 of those 4 trucks on the bottom there are teammates. Actually, scratch that, they're all teammates. Mitchell is part of Super Kick Revival Racing, so that very much could have been a coordinated effort. However you slice it, it puts Austin Holyfield in control of the outside line with help from Steve Vroman.
The one thing we really haven't mentioned much, I mean, we have a 35 truck field here tonight. If you want to hang out in the back, that is a long ways to go if nothing ends up happening caution-wise. I know that sounds a little bit crazy. You would think that something would definitely happen, but you never know. We got some pretty darn good drivers here.
Austin Holyfield started half of the races last season. His best career Venom Truck Series finishes come on a draft-style track. And he was very quietly near the front of his Duel all race long. Got a good finish out of it. See what he can do here, trying to lead this outside line towards the front. Doing a nice job so far here on lap 3.
Yeah, they're starting to make some headway here. Holyfield inches out in front of Zittel into turn 3.
The bottom seems to really come in through the turns. Down the straights or through the trioval. The top makes some hay. Pretty much all the packs still together here, a little bit spread out, just outside of the top 10. They're all in touch with the leaders who are side by side. Zittel on the bottom, Holyfield on the top.
Wow, this is interesting. Looks like McKinnon has fallen back and likely on purpose. He was about 6th in line on the bottom at one point, and now is dropped to the outside in the second pack.
And is falling outside of the top 20 at this point. He's one of those drivers, he either waits until the end or he's up front the entire race. May have decided just to stick it out for a bit.
Well, there's a big cluster there in the middle of that last pack, and you see there's McKinnon on the outside of it trying to drop back. None of those drivers feel like they're in a hurry. You see a lot of space in between them, but up here in the front, the first 7 rows or so, they are all here together looking to make the push.
Zittel with help from teammates and alignment teams on the bottom. Holyfield, sort of the odd one out up front here. His only teammate is Ethan Patterson, who I don't believe is in the field tonight.
Part of the reason some drivers have dropped back could be part of fuel save strategy as well. I think if you're able to save enough, you could theoretically make it on one stop. I know I was able to take my fuel quite a few laps last Tuesday in the Pro-Am race. As Melissa Reynolds is in the chat cheering on her son Nathan.
Austin Holyfield with a nose out in front. Not clear on Zittel, but that is career lap lead number 1 for driver number 10.
Here's the car inside view of Nathan Reynolds. Currently sits in 7th. Comfortably riding up behind his teammates and associate teammates on the bottom line.
Everybody doing a nice job so far. Coming to put lap number 8 up on the board. Wasn't expecting the intensity that we saw in the duels, of course, with a 10-lap dash to the finish. Things are always going to get crazy. We'll see that at some point, but you don't need it in the first 10 laps. We'll save it for the last 10 if at all possible.
Reynolds, pretty good smile on his face right now. We'll see if that goes away at all later on. I'm looking for Andy Poliski here. Andy Poliski is riding with teammate Jeremy McKinnon all the way back in 29th.
Yeah, he started 3rd to last, so may have thought better of trying to push his way up through the field, especially if the pusher is going to drop back to you. Might as well just ride it out for a while. Oh, Zittel and Mitchell got a little bit discombobulated there on the bottom. Zittel had to go below the line to catch it. It puts Holyfield back out in front again. Holyfield has been almost clear on Zittel a couple of times. No reason to force the issue. And talking of, you know, sort of having teammates support around you and not, it's sort of similar to the Cup Series, or what you would see on Saturdays and Sundays at the plate tracks. You know, you got to look for people that want to help you. And, I mean, Austin Holyfield hasn't really done anything to rub anyone the wrong way that I'm aware of anyways, but I don't think a lot of the guys up front here have a whole lot of experience around him. So it's sort of a testing, or a litmus test, if you will, right now for Holyfield leading this outside line to see if he can find help a little bit later in this one.
Well, it looks like to me he's doing well. I mean, when you're trying to figure out who you want to work with, and they're in front of you, the biggest thing is they just need to hold it straight so you can push them. And from the estimation up here in the booth, it looks like Holyfield is checking all the boxes as far as giving a nice bumper for Vroman to make contact with. It looks like that's happening. So he's passing test number 1.
lot of people are having problems keeping it in a tight window. And Holyfield is not one of them up to this point. Ten laps complete, working lap number 11. Kyle Zittel and Austin Holyfield have led every single lap thus far. Zittel has led a lot of laps here at Daytona. But Holyfield might be able to get clear, and he is going to move down. Froman clear as well.
Whoa, barely. I'm not sure if Roman is clear. He almost had to clear himself.
He second-guessed it for sure. It was going to be tight. Those two dropped down to the bottom. And now, I do believe, is that Luke Peterson leading the outside line?
Yep, that's Peterson. Mitchell, looked like Mitchell thought about trying to cover up that outside lane, but the teammates will stick together. Third through sixth on the bottom now.
And this is actually more options for Superkick and Alabama Gang because Luke Peterson, part of Superkick Revival Racing as well. The numbers game finding their way towards the front, but not at the front at this point.
Yeah, and they of all of the organizations here in the Venom Truck Series, they definitely have the most numbers possible to work with. So they are definitely a force here on the super speedway tracks.
And not only with the numbers game are they a force, but they are all very good super speedway racers. I think statistically, the weak link among them would probably be John Kay. And John Kay is good at super speedway racing. He just doesn't have the finishes to go with it.
Well, he won the Pro-Am last week.
Yeah,
no thanks
exactly.
to the man that finished second behind him. But he definitely knows how to get it done. But you're right. He hasn't had real good luck in points-paying races up to this point.
Best finish of sixth at Daytona in season 2, I do believe. And there goes Luke Peterson in line between teammates.
Peterson moves down.
And who does that? We've got to get used to new paint schemes now. I can't quite tell who that is.
I think this is TJ Bartell on the outside.
Yes. So he is still listed in the league as number 74. But that is a mistake. He is getting it corrected next week. We'll be running 28 for the rest of the season. So you're right, that is Bartell here on the top side with help from Ryan Dye. Speaking of teams and team changes, Ryan Dye, part of Brook Guy Racing this season with the dissolution of Zittel Inc. He has now joined Steve Roman, who is on his inside, along with Andy Blaski and Jeremy McKinnon. Brook Guy looking to get back on top of the team standings this season.
That's going to be a tough one to get used to.
Yes. But they're doing a nice job here. Dye pushing Bartell. Still Austin Holyfield doing a nice job in control of the field.
You see way back in the pack, right at the tail end of this field, they're too wide for like maybe 3 or 4 rows. Everybody else in between them is single file. So interesting scenario playing out here right now. Maybe a group trying to get a push towards this front group. Of course, when pit stops start to happen, you want to be as far forward as possible to give yourself the best shot of leapfrogging those around you. Maybe some drivers thinking that they need to start pushing right now. We still have quite a ways before pit stops are absolutely necessary.
It's lap 16, so we got a while to get in position here. I do think it's interesting as there goes somebody dropping down to the bottom. I think that's Brody Gunter. It's interesting that all these teammates from Alabama Gang and Superkick are all lined up here on the inside. It was a little more interesting when the top line was going strong here, but they're starting to lose some numbers. They're sort of boxed in on the bottom. You would think if you're getting ready for a pit stop, that would be where you want to be. Now John Kay going to move to the bottom. So yeah, only 3 trucks here on the top side now.
And those of you wondering, this white truck here, that's Brantley Gainey sporting a new paint scheme. For Insert Coin Racing.
I think it's insert coin policy. You cannot run the same truck more than once ever. A lot of cool designs on and off the trucks week in and week out. I think Brantley probably runs the most repeat schemes, and that's all right by us. It gets a little confusing sometimes.
We get used to them eventually. It's always good to see the Little Caesars truck out there when we get the chance.
Pizza.
Not sure we'll see much of that this season, though.
Maybe not. That's all right. I don't need to be reminded to eat Little Caesars.
I don't either. There's a great one about, I don't know, a quarter of a mile away from me. It's too tempting every time I see it.
But speaking of Brantley, he is up 22 positions. I think the biggest dropper right now would be Kevin Sargent, who's fallen back to 15th after starting on the inside of the second row.
The field's starting to break up. I mean, we have some folks that were in the front starting to kind of move backwards. Others, like John Kay, who's farther back, started to move forwards. Andy Poliski and Jeremy McKinnon of Broke Guy Racing are trying to make their way up to the front now after sitting back for a long time.
The top line with only 4 trucks here, starting to get back after it. Bartel has not fared very well in his super speedway appearances in the Venom Truck Series.
Well, that top line has some help coming in a hurry.
McKinnon and Poliski. A lot of body armor paint schemes for Andy Poliski this season. It's pretty good.
And they're bringing Kevin Sargent along. Sargent knows what he's doing here in these races, that's for sure.
He knows how to survive. He's the Bear Grylls of this series. Always make it through the muck at the end to take home a good finish.
And one of the rookies, Zach Lockett, sitting here in the 35 as well on the outside lane. So Lockett's starting to mix it up here.
Now, only 5 in this rookie class. 2 of those drivers started races last season and are not here tonight. But Lockett, Logan, and Matt Schlosser are the 3 newbies going at it for the first time.
Well, Tommy, field started to come together a bit. I think it's time.
For the first one of the season, I'm down.
Let's go ahead. Turn the volume up on your TVs and cell phones. It's time to crank it up, turn 200 style. Continues to lead on the bottom. Man, that outside lane just cannot quite get it together.
They're getting good surges. They're just not getting it at the right times. They had dropped back 6 truck lengths and got 3.5 of them back. As wow, Bartel nearly zigging into Lockett's zag, or rather, gosh, I can't even tell who that is now on the bottom there. Is that Carson Mitchell?
Yeah, Carson Mitchell there in the 17 on the bottom.
I got to zoom my own camera in here just a little bit.
Peterson's pulled down from the top lane to the bottom, getting hooked up with more of those teammates.
They're all pretty much right here together.
John Kay tried to get to them. I think he missed it by just one spot. Kevin Sargent got in front of him, but still right there when moves need to start being made. And there are 5 trucks clear of the outside lane now. Make it 6.
Oh, Peterson drifting up the track a little bit. Slows the advance of Bartel and Dye and company on the top. Paul Sargent thought about taking it 3 wide there for a second. He gets up in the line on the top side now. Well, the dynamic duo of this race so far has been Steve Roman pushing Austin Holyfield.
Well, they got out front early, and they've stayed there.
It certainly has to feel a little threatening seeing, 7 teammates in line directly behind you two, but at least you know you're not alone in the fight.
Yeah, but the threat of them pulling out to try to pass you gets bigger and bigger as this outside line continues to dissipate.
And what would have helped... Sorry, go ahead.
The Sergeant pulled out to that outside line, and this thing's really broken apart here. It looks like Mitchell's gotten pushed down to the bottom. He's going to be let in, I think.
Yeah, he made that move voluntarily from what I could tell, but lets Brody Gunter in front of him now. And this has allowed the outside lane to get a big run here. This is Kevin Sargent with help from Bartel. Those two are teammates. They've got teammates behind them. Broke Guy Racing teammates.
Well, Sargent pulling out to lead this outside lane and allowed John Kay to get directly linked up with all of the teammates there. That is going to be a force to be reckoned with if that continues. But Kevin Sargent getting great pushes here from Bartel.
And Vroman giving some good shots here to Holyfield. What's going to be interesting to see is when Poliski and McKinnon get up here, or rather just McKinnon, is Steve Roman going to go with his team?
All the drivers starting to want to get bunched up now. I think we're going to start jockeying for position for pit stops here. I mean, we're still a good 10 laps away, but a lot of drivers are going to want to try to get as forward as possible here.
The intensity has certainly picked up here. More pushes being applied here. Rodney Matney giving the thumbs up to Kevin Sargent. And TJ Bartel getting hooked up here, leading the top line.
I don't think we've mentioned, but same teammates as they were last year as well.
Yep. Yeah, Bartel's first week in the RMR stable, he finished second at the 2008 version of Atlanta, and wrapped up the season at Charlotte by finishing second there as well. Bartel had a great showing in his limited appearances last season. Brantley Gainey giving some space to those top two. It's the third truck in line there on the outside. From a distance, his truck looks a lot like one of Andy Poliski's schemes from last season, so that's what threw me off a little bit.
Definitely. And it's got the number 2 on the end, so I was really confused.
The gold numbers. It's not uncommon for
Oh.
drivers just to swap paint schemes, as now we're going to swap lines. Brantley Gainey ducks into the inside.
Yep, Gainey finds room in between Peterson and Mitchell to duck in. So now Jeremy McKinnon will be third on the top lane.
The top line doesn't need a ton of numbers, but it does not seem like anybody wants to be up there right now, especially, like you said, pit stops coming soon.
Well, I tell you what, sometimes if a big group comes in on the bottom line and that top lane throttles right on through, it can actually benefit them when they come around to pit again. They're all able to get together and the pit stop's not quite as chaotic.
Chloe Teixeira cheering on Jan Van Leer. Jan riding back at 19th right now. He'll certainly be one to make some noise at the end of this thing, but no harm in just riding it out here for the time being.
Now that outside lane really starting to lose numbers. Here
we
come
go.
pit stops.
I was going to say, Andy Poliski just keyed up that time. Pit stops underway. Gunter, Zittel, Mitchell, Vroman, Gainey, Peterson. A lot of drivers. John Kay, Garrett Rainey, Gary Clark, Cole Maxwell, Jan Van Leer, Ryan Dye, Ryan Borboom. Be easier to tell you who didn't pit.
It's going to be way easier. There's only 7 drivers that didn't come down pit road.
Corey Rutherford did spin on pit road entry. But right now, it's Austin Holyfield, Jeremy McKinnon, Kevin Sargent, TJ Bartell, Zach Lockett, Matt Schlosser, Paul Sargent. Those are the only drivers that stayed out that time. Brody Gunter wins the race off of pit road. Austin Holyfield says he is pitting this time.
Oh, McKinnon stayed out on his own. That is going to be a killer.
Holyfield, Sargent, Bartell, Lockett, Sargent, and Schlosser. Both Sargents, I should say. So that leaves McKinnon out all by himself. Two drivers have re-entered pit road. Andy Poliski is one of them. Mark Dillon Jr. also comes down. Oz Kanar as well. Not showing any penalties, but that doesn't mean they didn't pick some up or damage. Here comes Jeremy McKinnon now. And we'll see how we're going to shuffle out here.
Holyfield's way out in front of the rest of the pack.
They are coming in a hurry, though.
Oh, there's
being led by
contact! I think it was Carson Mitchell just got slammed into the wall.
drivers trying to work their way through. They're catching Holyfield with a head of steam. Gunter with a big push from Steve Vroman. Vroman pushing Holyfield for all those laps. He now pushes Gunter past.
Wow, I can't believe Carson Mitchell is still doing just fine. I mean, he got pounded into the wall.
And this is one of the rookie drivers working past Austin Holyfield right now. Tyler Logan is up to third.
McKinnon was trying to get the power down on the apron to catch the rest of the field or tag onto the tail end of it, and he almost spins out sideways. I think he's going to lose everybody.
Three drivers from the Alabama gang Super Kick stable working up top. Mitchell being pushed by Zittel and the reigning champion Nathan Reynolds behind. Mitchell, like you said, with some contact to the wall. He's had a couple of blinking issues here. Maybe not the top choice to try and lead the top line to glory, but doing it all the same.
Well, testament to the damage model. We mention it quite a bit these days, but Carson Mitchell barely looks like he was even touched on that right-hand side of the truck, which, I mean, from camera point of view, looked like he absolutely slammed the outside wall in the backstretch.
So it looks like about 24 trucks in this lead pack now are in touch with the leaders. It's awfully close, though, back from 15th to 16th.
Well, that was an awful, chaotic pit stop there.
Yes.
I think that may be the most trucks I've ever seen come in all together.
Yeah, that was 28 trucks all coming in at the same time, seemingly without much warning. One person keyed up over the radio, and it was in turn 3, and 28 people came.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that one came out of nowhere, for sure. And crucially, it solidifies that we're having a two-stop racing.
Yeah, yep, you are absolutely right. Definitely a two-stopper. I think the drivers are probably going to be... I mean, they maybe could have stretched it to about right now, maybe a couple laps more, but they knew it was going to be a two-stopper regardless, so... I think they probably tried to short pit a little bit and catch some off guard, but they did not do that. Everybody came in with them.
And to your point about the damage model, Mitchell, of course, making contact with the outside wall there on the outlap. We saw Paul Ellison in 3 or 4 different accidents last night, and he was able to lead a line pretty convincingly at Talladega. So, yes, these trucks are a little more tanky for cosmetic damage, but internally they could get busted up pretty easily, but that has not happened with Carson Mitchell.
I guess they took the next-gen body and put it on the trucks. Is
I guess
kind of what it's like.
So it does look like we are going to have 27 trucks here in the lead pack. Jeremy McKinnon, after pitting by himself, is in 28th and sort of in no man's land. Well behind the draft, not really with anybody who picked up a speeding penalty or had problems on pit entry. But he may be okay with that because the intensity is picking up here after pit stops. A lot more pushing and shoving. Brantley Gainey on the top line here. I think he's going to have honorary citizenship to Alabama after this. He's right in the middle of the team sandwich.
Let's go ahead and go car inside. The man running number 38. It's lap 38. Why not? Nathan Reynolds, a car inside. Still in the top 10 here. Now working the top side. They're starting to move forward there on the top lane.
They've advanced up to Tyler Logan, who's third in line on the bottom.
This is Kyle Zill in front of Reynolds. Of course, Mitchell, who we mentioned, is leading this line. And yeah, you said it, Tyler Logan in the 98, mixing it up here in the front. But looking at the I rating of Tyler Logan, he is no stranger to truck competition, I'm sure. Oh, Coffin's out.
Trouble. I think Mark Dillon Jr. might be involved. He's one of the ones I see slowing on the track. Yes, indeed. He is around in turn number 4. And that is the first caution of the night. Dillon going to get a big shot from Andy Poliski to set this one in motion.
Go ahead and back it up. These drivers were trying to scratch and claw their way with single file to the pack. Oh, and it looked like Dillon dipped down onto the apron and got super loose, so I think Poliski tried to get around him. Either that or it was a push from Poliski that put him down there.
I will say, right after pit stops concluded and these guys all found themselves together, Poliski did say to somebody, I'm going to push you for all you're worth. Let me know if it gets too sketchy. And Andy with an apology over the radio. Mark Dillon Jr. also with an apology over the radio. So seems like no hard feelings, but that's a shame. Poliski, last season's winner of this race. Mark Dillon Jr. had the fastest lap and the Daytona track record in that race as well. So two drivers that know how to do it here at Daytona.
Miles' first caution of the night comes out on lap 38, or 39, I think, actually.
It comes at an interesting point here. Seeing some drivers hit pit road. Tyler Logan, the first on to pit road from fourth. Gainey, Schlosser, Borboom, Lockett, Paluota, Maxwell, Jan Van Leer, Brian Dye, Gary Clark, Paul Elson, Kyle Dumig, Tyler Berger, Will Salamone, McKinnon back on pit road, Eric Breeding, Corey Rutherford, who spun. I didn't see how, but he might have some damage to repair here, so that's a lucky break for him and for everybody else that had lost the draft there. Kenneth Graves and, of course, Andy Poliski on pit road as well. Lucky dog is Michael Dean. So Dino will be back on the lead lap. I believe that will only leave one truck one lap down. It'll be Oz Kanar. So next caution, if he's not in it, he should be good to rejoin the fray. All right. We haven't seen anybody really getting after it so much yet, but maybe just for that reason alone, the handling looks a bit of less of an issue than maybe what we were expecting. Again, no reason to push. We're not even halfway in this race yet.
Yeah, I think once you see these drivers start really trying to get after it like they were in the duels, I think you're going to see the handling start to get a bit uneasy, to say the least.
Now, this isn't a leading question. This is something I'm genuinely trying to remember, and maybe you have better insight than I do. But race conditions last Tuesday were exactly like they were for this race tonight, a day into night race. But I don't particularly remember the handling getting much better as the track cooled off and the sun set and the lights came up, unless you have a different thought about that.
No, honestly, I don't. I don't remember it really making much of a difference. There in that back half of that race, obviously. I was more concerned with fuel saving. And then at the end of the race, when we got a caution, it was just absolute pure chaos. So there really wasn't time to even think about the handling of the truck. You were just hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, certainly you and I evaded much of the chaos towards the end of the race. We took creative paths to evade that chaos. Both ended up with top 10s. You ended up with the second place finish. I know you haven't mentioned that because you're that humble, but we'll spill the beans if you weren't watching here last Tuesday. Matt Williamson finished second to the infamous John Kay, who has been quiet as a church mouse up to this point, but back in 13th on this restart.
I don't know if it was just because I'm humble or because I was that angry that I finished second to John Kay, and I had an opportunity to try to get out in front, and I just couldn't. I didn't grasp it. I couldn't make it work. So, but we mentioned it. John Kay, he won that Pro-Am race, and you're right. He's been quiet. He's started out in the back. He kind of worked his way into the top 15. And he's just been kind of hanging around. I think like a lot of our drivers here tonight. I mean, we still have at least 33 healthy trucks here, and that is a lot of healthy trucks heading into the back half of the race.
Well, the stat that I don't think he wants to hear, John Kay that is that in our time here, nobody has won the Pro-Am and the Rocketman in the same season. Brody Gunter in control. Top line checks up a bit on the start. Gunter with a pretty clean getaway here. Carson Mitchell side by side with Roman for second. We mentioned all the teammates in lines. They're all sort of jumbled up now because of the restart.
Roman pulled down and then pulls back up in front of Kyle Zittel. He's got Nathan Reynolds behind him.
Roman drops down. We've seen Roman be the pusher. Now he's the leader. But here comes Kyle Zittel with help from Nathan Reynolds.
And here's a name we really haven't mentioned much tonight. Ryan Borboom is now 8th place. He's the 4th truck on that outside line.
Borboom has been running well in both Daytona races in his Venom Truck Series career. And has found misfortune late both times. Of course, everybody that wasn't the top 3 found misfortune late last season.
Yes, they did.
It was a little more localized to Borboom in season 5. Roman and Zittel. Roman, a guy that when we're between super speedway races, I think goes under the radar. And then we get to Talladega or Daytona and we say, oh yeah, Steve Roman is really good at this.
If you remember, he won the inaugural Truck 200 race at Talladega. So, yeah, he certainly knows how to get it done. And I think the big thing is he knows how to get it done with a variety of people behind him and around him as well.
He's not been shy to push anybody to the front. He pushed Kyle Zittel to the front. Zittel was in the lead in turn 3 last season before they both found their way around.
Well, now Kyle Zittel getting a big push from Reynolds. Looked like Zittel is clear. Reynolds is not.
Zittel might stay to the top here. Might expect a bigger run down the backstretch here. They might both be able to get clear if they can stay hooked up. They're nice and tight here on the top side. This might be the opportunity for both of them to get down. But Roman fighting back with help from Brody Gunter.
Yeah, the top 3 on that bottom lane, Mitchell to Gunter and then to Vroman. They have all been awfully tight. Vroman started to inch out in front again.
Vroman, Gunter, Zittel, Mitchell, Reynolds, your top 5. Holyfield, Sargent, Bartel, Borboom, and Lockett, the top 10. Rookies are having a pretty good night. Tyler Logan was running up front here a while before the caution came out. Zach Lockett's been near or in the top 10 pretty much all night. Schlosser was running well in the Duel. I've yet to really call his name out in the race, but that time will be coming, I'm sure. Cruise mode here, at least for the time being. And still expecting, I do believe, another pit stop, even for the drivers that came down under this caution.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit closer, but yeah, I think those drivers, unless they get a couple cautions and try to stay out, I think they are probably all going to have to come back in at some point.
Zittel is clear again. Reynolds is now clear as well. And they do not waste another opportunity. Down to the bottom, right quick. Big shots from Corbin up to Kevin Sargent, who is now in control of the outside.
We've talked a lot about these rookies in the class. Let's go ahead and go on board with one of them here. It'll be Zach Lockett. Here on the outside line, he's right behind Ryan Borboom, who is pushing Kevin Sargent. Lockett gets a big run up to the back of Borboom here. Top line trying to get secure. Wow, a lot of wiggling there.
Borboom is giving big shots here to Sargent.
Lockett's just trying to keep it lined up as best as he can. Borboom, who is pushing Sargent as hard as he can. The back end of the truck is all over the racetrack.
We've mentioned it several times, but it's a little unusual to see Kevin Sargent at the front at this point in the race. And he has made me promise that I'm not going to say his name at all tonight, but he's not making it easy on me, that's for sure.
No, he's been up there in the top 10 like all night long. It's been hard not to mention him.
Be like what F1 Media Group is going to do to the Andretti F1 team if they don't get a deal secured. We're just going to have to pretend that he's not running up at the front. It's Sargent to the lead. It's Sargent to the bottom. He hesitated there. I thought maybe he was going to get a shot from Borboom, which would have really upset that 09. But Old Spice swagger to the bottom, and now here comes Borboom with help from Zach Lockett.
Wow, Lockett
Borboom is clear.
Lockett is glued to the back of Borboom.
Oh, Lockett got a big shot there from Carson Mitchell. I thought they were all going around. Oh, now Borboom back to the top. Big block here from Borboom. It opens the bottom back up for Sargent.
Yeah, he stacked up that outside line big time. Lockett and Mitchell just about got together over it.
Lap truck in front. Stand to the top side.
That's Eric Breeding, unfortunately.
Borboom is clear again. Now he's not. Now he is. He'll stay to the top this time. Oh, Lockett a bit offset there.
Whoa!
Now
he
we're
didn't back off, though.
No, not really.
He stayed glued to the back, even though it was a bit off center.
Pushes are getting a little more aggressive now.
Well, the pushes right at the front are very aggressive, but throughout the rest of the field, they're all still pretty spread out.
Yeah, a lot of space just outside of the top 10. As now Lockett might be clear to move down. Bottom is Sargent again. Yeah, there they go. Lockett to the bottom. Borboom still in control. And now it's Carson Mitchell in control of the top.
So this is interesting. This is a little bit of the same as what happened on Tuesday night last week in the Pro-Am. As soon as it started getting dark, that outside lane was able to make moves a little bit easier. That's actually how John Kay got to the lead. And it looks to be the same tonight, that outside line finally being able to leapfrog the inside lane.
Last season's Rocketman Memorial champion Andy Poliski there with a ton of damage after the first and only caution of the night to this point. Just went a lap down there, staying high. For the rest of the pack, Carson Mitchell trying to get back to the lead. Taking Ryan Borboom. Contact! He's going to save it, but where is he going to go?
Wow, he finds an opening, but he's awful slow on the track.
That was an incredible save. Wow.
Wow is
Unfortunately,
right.
That's going to set him back quite a bit. 'Cause I'm not sure if he really has any drafting help back there. Oh, man, topside just checked up big time. So that has mixed things up for sure. Ryan Dye is now third in line on the bottom as here is Brody Gunter. Leaves Carson Mitchell out. Gunter to the point. One driver we really haven't said his name since the beginning of the show here. Nathan Paluota, third in line on the outside. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. We haven't really mentioned him except for in that duel. I was going to say, if you're kind of buried in the pack a little bit, and when I say buried, I mean you're sitting around 15th to 20th place, I think the outside line is the place to get to if you want to start moving forward. We've seen about 6 trucks leapfrog that bottom line, and huge, massive netcode contact with Carson Mitchell.
That was terrible. Gunter blinks, and it causes a netcode that puts Mitchell up in the wall.
It stops.
Jan Van Leer, Tyler Logan, Michael Dean, Cole Maxwell, Tyler Berg, Kyle Dumig, Kenneth Graves, all down pit road.
Wow, that's a little earlier than we thought that it would be, but have to put less fuel in the truck at this point, so we'll see how they shake out. Be interesting to see if everybody else follows or they try to stretch it a few more, like we know that they can.
Here's Brantley Gainey with help from Nathan Paluota. And the top 2 are clear to come down, and they will. Move old BG up to the point. He took it from another BG.
Wow, I can't get over that massive netcode contact with Carson Mitchell.
That was awful, and I'm sure Carson is not very happy about it either, but there's not really anything that either of them could do about it. Big blink from Brody. That has put Brian Borbin back to the outside here. With help from, I believe, Paul Ellison up top. Top 6 have sort of broken away here, at least for the time being. Look at this big run. Ellison pushing Borboom. Run stalls, though. Since that first group came down pit road, we've yet to see anybody else.
Yeah, they came in early for sure. I think they were going for that short pit strategy. You have to put less fuel in the truck. Hoping to all get together here and hoping that the rest of the field maybe all tries to go together like they did the first time around, and it's a chaotic pit stop. But I think if they have that many people try to go together again, they will benefit from it.
Certainly will. That was, like you said, that's the biggest group I've ever seen all hit the pits at the same time. That was insane.
Ellison and the purple and yellow 55 trying to get Borboom out to the front here.
They're squaring off against Paluota, pushing Brantley Gainey. Winner at the new Atlanta a couple of seasons ago. Another one you'd look for to sneak up late in these draft-style tracks. But he's been close to the front pretty much all night after working up through the field. Started 28th in this one.
The group in front of them that came to pit. Oh, here comes some more.
Ryan Dye leads the charge. Brody Gunter is dipping in as well. Both of them look like they're coming in pretty hot. McKinnon, Vroman, Poliski, Rutherford, Salamone, all down the pit straight this time. So Broke Guy Racing Elective, it's pretty much all Broke Guy and work in progress drivers pitting.
So much smaller groups coming down pit road this time. That's what they needed. And that first group that came in, it looks to me like they're losing time.
Be interested to see where Broke Guy faction cycles out in comparison to the ICR-led group from a few laps ago. Here comes some more pitters now. Paluota, Gainey, Oz Kanar locks it up. Paul Ellison, boy, Carson Mitchell and John Kay both flew it in there. Bartel is in, Reynolds is in, Tyler Logan, Zach Lockett. This is the big group that we were worried about from last time.
Holyfield, Borboom, and Schlosser stayed out, but they did not get together well at all. It looked like Schlosser couldn't decide if he wanted to come into pit or not. He decides to stay out, and then Borboom, they didn't get single file until into turn one, which is not what they needed.
It's not going to be as bad as when Jeremy McKinnon stayed out by himself, but not a whole lot of cohesion here. But these should be the last three to come down pit road, and here they come.
Speaking of Jeremy McKinnon.
Borboom tags Holyfield, sends him into the inside wall. Oh, man, that is just heartbreaking. No caution. It's a single truck incident, and Matt Schlosser made it through without issue.
Jeremy McKinnon and Ryan Dye, who came to pit on lap 60, they have leapfrogged everybody here.
Incredible work. Coming out on the wrong side of it the first time and the right side of it the second time.
And this group with Ellison is going to have to get together because they are not within drafting range right now. But it's not going to happen. People are trying to get around them. They're slowing themselves down.
We are in danger of a breakaway here.
The gap is 1.9 seconds. I mean, that is awful close.
What's going to help them, I think, is Matt Schlosser coming out all by himself here. They'll be able to latch on to Brantley Gainey, no problem, but how does that affect the drivers that are trying to track this lead group down?
And you're right, gap from Schlosser to Gunter is 1.5 seconds. That could be the difference maker.
This is the top six, and the caution is out. Looking for trouble, not finding it anywhere, unless you've got something.
Well, I see Paul Ellison slow on the front stretch.
And that is going to be a big break for Austin Holyfield. And we'll have to take a look at that as well if you're able to. That is so unfortunate. Got turned down, did make contact with the inside wall. And yes, Paul Ellison goes for a spin through the grass after some contact with poor Andy Poliski. He's been in both of them tonight.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the replay. Try to get a better look. Oh, yeah. Poliski, Ellison, they come together door to door. Oh, man, Ellison gets way loose from it. And just could not quite hang on to it. He goes for the spin through the grass. That's what brings a caution out. And I will try and see if I can find the previous incident. It's going to be awful difficult. I don't think I got any notification of it.
I would say it's damn near impossible. So what I can tell you is that it looked like Borboom was following Holyfield into the pits and didn't get slowed up in time. It is possible that somehow Borboom didn't realize Holyfield was pitting despite him calling over the radio and just piled into the back of him
Well,
regardless. But
I think I may have found it here.
well, there you go. We'll get a better look at it then.
Borbum also blinking. Oh. Okay, yeah. As Holyfield drops below the double yellow line here, Borbum follows him below the yellow line and then decides to just keep going, but makes contact with Holyfield. I mean, the whole truck was a truck and a half below the double yellow line. That was just, I don't know.
Holyfield was on the radio some point in turns 3 and 4 to say that he was pitting this time. Not sure what channel he was on. Default settings sometimes don't program you to allow you to hear every radio channel. But, yeah, that was certainly avoidable contact. And that hopefully is not going to set Holyfield too far back. But, I mean, that was a pretty hard shot to the inside wall there.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
And guess what? We don't need to pit any longer.
Yeah, it is gloves off from here on out.
Yep, the all-out brawl can assume.
And I think with the cast of characters we've got up at the front of this field, I think we're in for an all-out brawl. Really do. Leading the line right now is Holyfield and Luke Peterson. They are going to get the wave around this time. That will put Jeremy McKinnon, Ryan Dye, and Nathan Palawota, Brantley Gainey on the front 2 rows.
Yeah. And what's also interesting is a lot of our perennial super speedway players, they are buried a little bit. So they're going to have to try and work their way through this pack. And, I mean, 18 laps it's a good amount of time. But if you got to work your way up from outside the top 20, it's not going to be easy. Go ahead and check in with Nathan Reynolds.
Looking calm, cool, and collected as ever.
You know it. He's either calm, cool, and collected, or he's laughing about something with his teammates. Sporting that Intimidator number 38 paint scheme. Of course, he creates his own paint schemes. He's been working really hard at it too as of late.
Making some really good ones, might I add.
Yeah, we're gonna see some good ones throughout the season from him. And I think he's open to making some for others, I should say, if anybody's interested.
Absolutely. Top-notch quality. Good originals like you see on Ryan Dye's truck, and great replications as well. Here we go. Lap 68 up on the board. Jeremy McKinnon at the front. Ryan Dye, Nathan Palawota, Brantley Gainey, Matt Schlosser, Brody Gunter. The top 6. Corey Rutherford is back in the mix here as well. Will Salamone, first time we've said his name here tonight. He's up here. Steve Froman, Michael Dean, the top 10. Rodney Matney has said this is good racing so far. Absolutely. It's about to get crazier.
Yeah.
Here's Ryan Dye with a big shot from Gainey down the backstretch. McKinnon over the radio says you're clear. And there goes Ryan Dye. The benefit of being teammates. Nice with Jeremy could be your spotter. As well as now your pusher.
Well, those two working together as teammates for the very first time. Oh, Gainey gets left out in the middle here by Gunter and Vroman.
Hung out.
And here comes Steve Vroman trying to get together with his teammates, but those two, they will get left on the outside now. The help comes to the middle for Brantley Gainey.
Yep, that's ICR teammate Michael Dean. And just as Vroman and Gunter tried to play the team game up top, ICR says, they're all three in line right there.
Yeah, ICR is all together.
They were riding it out, at least Jan Van Leer and Michael Dean were, for most of this race. They are making their presence known up front.
Rookie Tyler Logan, he has himself right behind ICR as well. That's a good spot to be right now. Boy, look at all the jostling and jockeying going on. Throughout the field, people starting to kind of split lanes. Not sure if they want to try to go to the top with others or stay in the middle. But Ryan Dine continues to lead it with the help of Jeremy McKinnon. Whoa. Nearly big contact in the back of the pack. Oh, contact with Logan.
Oh,
Corey
Rutherford. How did they save that? Caution is out.
Oh, big wreck behind.
I was going to say somebody had to wreck out of that one. Paul Sargent involved. Tyler
Andy
Berger
Poliski.
looks like. Andy Poliski again. Boy, rough night for Season 5 champ.
Looked like Logan kind of got put in the middle, or tried to take the middle and then got squeezed down into Rutherford. It was kind of hard to tell. We'll go ahead and try to get back to take a look. Incident already happened here. Let's go ahead and rewind it. He's in that kind of beach-colored... oh, that's SpongeBob. I just realized that was another SpongeBob paint scheme. So he's in the SpongeBob truck here in the middle, and Michael Dean and Brantley Gainey are kind of shading in between the second and the third line, and Mitchell pulls in behind him, trying to push him forward, and they're just going to get caught in a tough spot here as Dean tries to come down and fill the hole. Logan comes down into Rutherford. Rutherford gets loose. He gets into the left rear of Logan, and it starts a checking up chain reaction here. We go farther back into that pack. This is where the incidents start to occur. And there's about 8 trucks that all came together in one massive... I want to call it a fireball. There's no fire here in the sim, but if there was in real life, that might have been a fireball.
Definitely. Yeah, the majority of those trucks in the actual crash itself picked up meatball flags. Gary Clark, Paul Sargent, Andy Poliski, Luke Peterson, Oz Kinar, all with significant damage. Well, we've seen bigger. But that certainly is not going to do anything to calm the front of the field. In fact, with the laps ticking away here, it might turn things the other direction.
Yeah, it's time. I mean, this is the time you have to go now. There's no more sitting back and waiting.
For somebody, if not multiple somebodies, their race is about to take a nose turn for the worse. So one broadcaster would put it. It's just a question of who it's going to be at this point, and I know the drivers are just as curious as we are up here how this one is going to shake out for them.
It's an interesting group up here.
It really is.
That is to say the least.
Ryan Dye. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you just said his name. I can tell you one man that is absolutely hungry. He's a two-time champion. But boy, season 6 was a rough one. The two-time series champion Ryan Dye currently leading the field, and he desperately wants to get season 7 off on the right foot here at Daytona, and he's in prime position to do it right now.
I should mention Ryan Dye, yes, statistically his worst season in Venom Truck Series competition. However, he did grab 2 checkered flags. One of them was at the All-Star race at iRacing Super Speedway. The other one was at Talladega. We just happened to be at Daytona. So he is looking for the trifecta here. But still a ways to go, and like you said, a host of hungry drivers up here. Jeremy McKinnon in particular. First here 2 seasons ago. That's been his last win. Finished second here to his teammate. Does not want to finish second to a teammate for a second season running. Nathan Paluota still looking for his first dub. He finished second at Talladega to Ryan Dye. Lines up right behind him on this restart. Brantley Gainey, a draft-style track winner, with his teammate Michael Dean behind him. The true wild cards, I think, nose to tail there, 3rd and 4th in line on the inside. Matt Schlosser and Tyler Logan. 2 rookies. Pace car is in, 11 laps to go. We're back green. Good jump for Dye. Paluota not going to let McKinnon in on the bottom. Dye backs up to Paluota here in a hurry. Does not want to be a sitting duck.
Yeah, that bottom line just did not get going here. And McKinnon is already out front and clear. Gainey trying to do the same.
Gainey is going to let McKinnon go because he has teammates on the top side, or at least he did, until Tyler Logan dropped out of line and up through the middle. Trying to break up the ICR party top side.
Oh, Gainey and Dean cannot make the same mistake, and they almost have of getting Logan put in the middle of them. Michael Dean really needs to get down right off that bottom line, otherwise Logan is going to put the truck there.
Steve Roman just passed 10 cars in the Tri-Oval. I swear to the Lord, he is up now into the top 10. Logan has put the ICR party on hold. But now they're going to try and move topside and get Jan clear of the 98. Logan, with clean air, is pushing his way up in the mix with help from Carson Mitchell.
Jan Van Leer lets the teammates get to the top side here as Jan is getting pushed desperately by John Kay right now.
Tyler Logan to the lead at Daytona in his first career start with help from Mitchell and Stearns.
And where did Chad Stearns come from? He was up front to begin. He left for a long time, and here he is again pushing Carson Mitchell.
Now Mitchell
Oh!
Back to the top! Oh, there they go. Oh, that is a big ride for Michael Dean up into the catch fence. This is going to take 10, 12, maybe 15 trucks. Ryan Borbin piles into the mix.
Jeremy McKinnon.
Oh, yes, that's actually McKinnon in the catch fence, and he's still up.
He's stuck to the catch fence, and he's going to have to tow to the pits, unfortunately.
I mean, that has taken out a lot of the heavy hitters here. Tyler Logan, Carson Mitchell make it through, and everybody else is looking worse for wear, to say the very least.
Yeah, that was that was a rough one.
That was the huge one at Daytona.
Well, let's go ahead and try and take a look. I'm sure we're going to watch this one back a couple of times.
We're going to have to.
Starts coming into turn 3. Everybody's just pushing as hard as they can here. Excuse me, this is into turn 1. And Carson Mitchell, he pulls up in front of Chad Stearns. He leaves McKinnon. And McKinnon drifts up the racetrack just a little bit. And as Stearns is trying to push Mitchell, Stearns comes down the racetrack and gets into the right rear of the 12. Both of them get turned loose. And Stearns gets turned across the rest of the field. He hooks Jeremy McKinnon. That's what puts McKinnon up into the catch fence, where the 12 would stay for the remainder of his ride. Please leave your arms inside of the vehicle. And, oh my goodness. I mean, that's 20 trucks.
That was huge.
Big, big damage for so many drivers here. You see Cole Maxwell, Kevin Sargent, John Kay, Borboom's in it. Of course, Stearns and McKinnon, Paul Ellison. I mean, too many to count. Those are just some of those drivers I see. Oh, Ryan Dye caught up in it as well. Wow.
Yeah, Dye was about to make it through, but came down the track and found Steve Roman there on the escape route. They both made contact. They both, I believe, have picked up meatball flags out of this. Yeah, a lot of spicy meatballs in this one, that's for sure. Ryan Dye, Garrett Rainey, Paul Ellison, Brody Gunter, Steve Roman, Brantley Gainey, of course, Jeremy McKinnon, Luke Peterson, Michael Dean, Jan Van Leer, Kenneth Graves, Cole Maxwell, TJ Bartell.
Let's go ahead and go to the cockpit of Austin Holyfield. We're going to see he was way behind the pack, and he was coming up on it in a hurry. This is what he saw. Wow. That's a scene.
It's a crime scene. Yeah, that was certainly, when I said somebody's race was about to take a nose turn for the worse, I was not expecting it to be 15 to 20 people at the same time. I was thinking maybe 5 or 10 at the max, at least until the last lap. Well, we didn't wait for the last lap. That was a full send moment. There are not a whole lot of healthy-looking trucks here behind the pace car.
No, not at all. You see Logan and Mitchell, they look pretty clean. Palamoda and Schlosser looking pretty decent as well, but...
Oh, look at this duo here.
You
This group of clowns here on row 3.
You go back to Kyle Zittel and John Kay, and boy, they are worse for wear here. That's an understatement. Nathan Reynolds actually looking fairly clean here. He should have a decent run at it. Same for Zach Lockett. And some other drivers looking pretty decent here as well. So maybe not quite the end of the road for as many as we thought, but boy, there are some that are looking pretty bad right now.
Yes, for sure. To that one, we're going to have 5 laps to do this, at least in regulation. And just, I mean, an interesting cast of characters up front. The top 4 share 4 victories amongst them. All of those have come from Carson Mitchell, though. You got 1 win from Kyle Zittel. John Kay, multi-time winner just in the last season alone. And of course, Nathan Reynolds, the reigning series champion, will be restarting next to Zach Lockett, who is making his first career start. All 3 of the rookies up here in the mix with 5 laps to go. I mean, I'd ask to place your bets, but where's the safe money here? I don't know.
It's nowhere, and there's no safe bet right here.
So hold on to your money then, and hold on to your hats, because we are going to try and make the run to the checkers. Top line stacks up. Mitchell was ahead of Logan there at the restart zone. Had to back out of it not to pick up a black flag, and that really put the top line in peril.
Not only did it put them in peril, but Paolotta stuck right to the back of Logan. Schlosser pulls down. Oh, looks like John Kay is moving backwards. He had big damage.
And that is Penn Lockett behind him. Here goes Paolotta. Block from Logan. Paolotta frees him up. Paolotta with the help from Kyle Zittel and Nathan Reynolds.
Wow, this is a huge run from that top line. Paolotta clear if he wants it. He is going to take it finally.
Goes to the bottom, and now Zittel and Reynolds stick to the top. The decent one leading at Daytona in the closing laps. Carson Mitchell, Ryan Borboom now up on the top line as well. Kenneth Graves in the mix here. Logan now the pusher, trying to get Paolotta to the lead. Paolotta led the second most laps here at Daytona last season after scoring the pole in his first career race. Reynolds trying to get big bumps here to Zittel. Now Paolotta moves to the top side to block. A shot from Zittel. 3 to go.
Zittel has a lot of damage. I'm not sure that truck and the engine is 100% here.
Well, Kyle Zittel is 100% a super speedway pro. He's not going to let some damage stop him from trying to win the Rocketman Memorial for a second time. Tyler Logan, the inside line, is stacking up behind him. Reynolds is clear down. Third in line.
Outside line surging big time. I wouldn't be surprised to see Zittel and Reynolds try to ditch Paolotta at some point, but it's too late now.
Well, they had already tried at one point. Paolotta found his way back in front of him. He is staying glued to the front of Kyle Zittel.
Yeah, Paolotta is making his rear bumper of that truck about 30 feet wide right now.
5 miles to go. Zittel looking for any way to get around Nathan Paolotta. Carson Mitchell is now clear. Down. That's the front 4 trucks on the top side.
There goes Mitchell.
Takes it. Not one to wait. And Paolotta going to move down to the bottom now as well. Big shot from Carson. 1 more lap to go. Paolotta leading Mitchell. Reynolds and Zittel looking for one more big push. that is everybody! Kenneth Graves might sneak through. No! Salamone through the grass is second. Nathan Palo all by his lonesome out front. Brody Gunter is through as well. Jan Van Leer is snuck through as well. The battling is on for second. But Nathan Palawoda for the second Super Speedway race in a row. He makes it through the carnage. Palawoda to the line to win it.
Wow.
That's the second time we've seen that in a row.
Kenneth Graves limps that truck to a top 15. Crosses the line about 120 miles an hour.
Man, he was the second one to make it through that, and Carson Mitchell just barely came up and clipped him. Kenneth Graves was on for a podium there. That's unfortunate. But, I mean, once that started, it was never in doubt. That was Nathan Palawoda's race. Will Salamone going to take a podium in this one? Brody Gunter. Another podium for him as well. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
I need a
is
smoke.
Right.
Holy cow.
There he is, folks. The Dollar General, number 6. Gets it done.
Palawoda ran a great closing stretch to this race. It was masterful, dare I say. It was very convincing performance out front.
Yeah, he certainly did what he needed to do. Blocked at all the right times. Wow, that is a way to kick off a season here for season number 7 of the Venom Truck Series.
Two of the wildest crashes we've ever seen in Venom Truck Series competition back-to-back there. And it's literally a walk-off, walk-away victory for Nathan Palawoda.
Alrighty.
Let's take a look at all of that.
Yeah, there's certainly oh boy, it's already started. There's a lot to unpack here.
Take it away.
We'll go ahead and rewind. I'm going to try to find the name. Yep, that's his name, Carson Mitchell. Starts up here at the front. Let's go ahead and go to the far chase. Why not? Coming out of turn 2. I mean, this thing starts at the very, very front.
That's literally everybody except for Palawoda. Literally everybody.
And a lot of net code here. Reynolds is trying to push Kyle Zittel off the corner to get that big run. Zittel gets pushed down towards Mitchell a tad. Zittel trying to come back up the racetrack, 2 feet in between them. Big net code is what initiates the initial incident. And you mentioned it. Everybody, I mean, Mitchell comes down and tags. Man, Logan nearly got through there as well. As we're coming through here, you see Salamone way down through the grass, trying to get in front of everybody else. And he ends up doing it. He's got Gunter right there behind him. And Mitchell, I mean, Mitchell saves this thing, kind of, all the way until he makes contact with Kenneth Graves. Into entry of turn 3. That's how far he rode that truck out, trying to save it. That was unbelievable. Let's go ahead and go full speed here. It's a drag race for Salamone, Gunter, and Jan Van Leer. None of them were going to catch Nathan Palawoda. My.
I don't even know.
I don't know what to say.
Well, I know what to say. The finishing order. To the Rocketman Memorial 85. What an opener to Season 7. We'll talk to all three of our podium finishers here in just a moment. Nathan Palawota, Will Salamone, Brody Gunter. Jan Van Leer finishes in 4th. Nathan Reynolds, the defending champion, will finish in 5th. How about a debut P6 for Zach Lockett? That's good for him. Cole Maxwell going to sneak in for a top 10 here. So is Corey Rutherford. They finished 7th and 8th. Eric Breeding, Tyler Logan, the top 10. Paul Elson, Steve Roman, Matt Schlosser back to 13th. Austin Holyfield, Kenneth Graves. Your top 15. TJ Bartell in 16th. John Kay in 17th. Kyle Zittel, Carson Mitchell, and Kevin Sargent back to 20th. Ryan Dye, 21st. Kyle Dumick, Ryan Borboom. The only lead lap finishers there through 23rd. Problems there on the last caution from here on out. I believe DNFs for Tyler Bergert. Paul Sargent, Gary Clark, Garrett Rainey, Luke Peterson, Brantley Gainey, Jeremy McKinnon, Andy Poliski, Chad Stearns, Michael Dean, Oz Kennard, who is in the chat cheering on his teammate Nathan Palawota. He finishes down at 34th. Mark Dillon Jr., the first retiree, in 35th. And now, we talk to this gentleman a lot on Wednesdays. We've been talking to him a little bit more on Tuesdays, though, and he's going to start the season off right. Another top 10 at Daytona. This time, though, it's a podium for Brody Gunter. Nice work there getting through that. But really a solid job here all night. You were up towards the front, knocking on the lead, if not leading outright, most of this race.
Yes, sir, I'd agree. I think I definitely was everywhere I possibly could have been at some point that race. It's like, yeah, I led some laps in first. I was like 28th at some point. But yeah, I felt like it was a pretty good race. Just got lucky at the very end that I was able to go from 14th to 3rd when that wreck happened.
Yeah, normally people that don't go or that do go down in the grass on the final lap at Daytona usually don't end up with a podium. So nice escape route there. Matt, you got anything for Brody?
Oh, congrats on the P3. Yeah, you navigated it well there at the end, but a lot of trucks still alive. I think all 35 trucks were still in the field after the halfway point of the race. What was the vibe between the drivers from the drop of the green flag and then as the race kind of progressed? How did the vibe change on track as you kind of got towards the end of the race?
I mean, the vibes to me, I feel like stayed pretty consistent. I mean, it was just ride out, maybe get some spots toward the front. The goal was to get the top 5, but like with the post pit cycle. And then afterward, it was kind of like, I think when it changed was on that restart with like 2019 to go. Everyone was like, well, it's go time. And that's, as you can see, it's when all the wrecks start happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice job taking your second career podium here tonight. Anybody you want to shout out or say hello to?
Just Work in Progress Racing and CGI Graphics for the amazing truck and the help.
How are we feeling about Big Willow tomorrow?
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I've never raced it before, but yeah, definitely an interesting track. And there's nothing around it, so it's gonna be definitely a duel in the desert.
Absolutely, looking forward to it tomorrow. Best of luck to you, but congrats on another podium here tonight.
Thank you, guys.
And now we'll pull up good old Will Salamone, who had an interesting path to a P2 here tonight, but no stranger to podiums here. Nice work here tonight, partner. Congratulations.
Thank you. Man, you don't know what's going to happen here at Daytona or Talladega. It's just the wild card. Last year I finished 4th in both races, and I was 17th going into turn 3 last season here. I ended up finishing 4th, missing the wreck. Same at Talladega, and you just got to get lucky. It's all luck sometimes, and that was same issue here. I got shuffled back there. I think with around 7 to go or whatnot, and had that big wreck. Was able to dodge that, get back out to the front, just stayed in line. And Yeah, dodged it all, so I'm relieved.
I mean, you always seem to do it in spectacular fashion. I think you ended up with a podium at Michigan when all the leaders decided to take themselves out a couple of seasons ago as well. So
Yes, yes.
always
Just
coming out on top here at the right times.
yeah, that's kind of how I view it. That's perfect way of putting it.
Matt, what do you got here?
Well, he knows how to have his head on a swivel, and you certainly had to. There were 3 restarts within 20 to go. When you're getting saddled up on the horse and ready to put the horses down to the ground before the green flag waves, what's the game plan when you're coming into these late restarts?
Well, for me, it's just stay on the bottom because that's the safest place in my opinion, and usually it is the safest place. And turns out it helps you out sometimes, but you just gotta have the right line. And those last laps, I thought that top was really they were just moving, and I don't think there's really anybody on the bottom that could really keep up. But I think guy dropped down in front of Nathan, I think, and then that kind of got us back up there, and then that all that chaos started. And you just have to hope your line goes, and if it doesn't, can't really go anywhere here, especially at Daytona. But lucky for us, for me, it worked out this time.
Well, best career finish for you here tonight, and a deserved one at that. I know Matt and I had noticed you finally crept up there towards the top 10 at the middle point of the race and said, "Oh yeah, uh, he's
Yeah.
he's up front here." So yeah, great finish for you here tonight. Anybody you want to shout out or say hello to?
Yes, I'd like to give my grandpa William, who I was named after, a happy 90th birthday. We just celebrated his birthday Sunday, so
All
it was
right.
all great to see him and his all the relatives, and he's doing well. Just moved in assisted living, so it's been an adjustment for him, but I'm proud of him, and it was great to see him. So I wanted to give him a shout out.
Absolutely. Happy 90th birthday to Grandpa Willie. And I'm
Yeah.
sure he's just as proud of you here for taking home a great finish to open up the season, man. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Now we get to talk to our first time series winner. He is the one and only Mr. Nathan Paluoto, the reigning rookie of the season. We knew it was only a matter of time before he ended up in victory lane, but man, in a bit different fashion than maybe what we were expecting to close this one out. All the same, though, congratulations.
Thank you. Man, I don't know how to feel right now. I just felt relieved after that lap. I didn't think I had it until off of 4. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything yet. I'm gonna wait and see what happens. But man, yeah, without Ziddle, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I've worked so hard to try to earn respect from these guys. This league is just amazing. I love everybody here. I don't know. It started off rough at first. I got into a lot of like feuds with people, and I've just kind of tried to change things and try to earn the respect of everyone here, all the veterans. Reynolds talked to me before the race after the duel, and that gave me a little bit of confidence going into the race. So I wanted to kind of stick with him if I could. Most of the race, we were kind of at the back. I couldn't really get up front there, and it was a little too sketchy for me. But then after that pit stop, we had a good strategy, and we got up there, and it all turned our way.
I was going to say, we saw you up front early, a good finish in the duel there, but you dropped back pretty quick. But once you found your way back up front, I mean, you were a lot of people were making aggressive moves here tonight, but you were one of maybe a handful of drivers that were making aggressive and simultaneously smart moves up front. You had great positioning there, like you said, especially working with Ziddle and Reynolds down the stretch. I mean, that was great work up front.
Yeah, it was some risky moves. I thought Ziddle might leave me there, but man, I'm so happy that he stayed with me. He tried? Okay. Well, I don't know. He didn't have time to, at least, but
No.
I'm glad he didn't pull out when he could have there, and he just kept pushing me. He probably didn't like that I blocked him like that, but I felt like he was going to be able to push me and give me the shoves I needed. Man, yeah, a lot of my moves, I'm like, they might work, they might not. I hope they do. Usually I try to not be that aggressive, but I felt like you kind of have to here. I've just learned so much from these guys that here at the super speedways with these trucks, especially tonight, you could really push hard. You could push hard without them getting too loose, especially with me. A lot of like Nathan Reynolds, he gave me some good shoves in the duel and stuff, and I felt pretty stable, like I could handle it. So I just was like, let's go do it. Let's see what happens. Let's get it. I didn't believe that we had it until off of 4, like I said. But yeah, and I really want to thank my team owner Oz. I just met him the past year, and we've become really good friends, and I really love him. And my family, my dad, my mom. My dad taught me a lot of the racing stuff, and from when I was little, and I'm glad he sent me down this path. That's for sure.
Well, we got the thank yous in already. Matt, you got anything you want to add here?
Well, huge congratulations. Good that you found some good teammates. I mean, that really helps, not only at the super speedway races, but as you go through a season, you need that support from teammates. So I'm really glad that you found a good home there with Oz. But coming into this season, he had a lot of great finishes, and I'm sure probably number one on the list was to get that win. Well, it's come early now in this season. What are the goals continuing on here in Season 7?
I just want to have fun. That's what I've learned after last season. I was frustrated at times, and I decided, man, I'm going to try to do it different. I'm going to try to go out there and just enjoy the racing, and I feel like I've improved so much from doing that. I've just stayed calm, just enjoyed it, and it's just so much better to do it that way. Also, I was wondering if we could bring in Oz maybe for a few words, my team owner.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll bring in a
Thank you.
quick word from the team owner, Oz Kanar, as well. You get one of your trucks up on the top step here at Daytona. That's got to feel pretty good here.
Oh yeah, it certainly does, man. We've been working so hard. Even though I'm the team owner, he's really been my teacher this whole time. I've only been doing sim racing for what, like a year and a half, I think, maybe 2 years. I don't know, but it's just so cool to finally watch him get the win that he deserved. He made all the right moves in the end. It was so cool to watch. I wish I could have been up there, but I had my own problems. But I'm really happy as a team owner.
You both made big strides across last season, and looking forward. I think the future is very bright for both of you here across Season 7. So very excited that you can best your second place finish after a crazy finish at Talladega with an even crazier finish and one spot better on the board. So yeah, absolutely. Major congratulations to you. Go celebrate the win. Go party hard. We'll talk to you again maybe
I'm
next
gonna
week.
party with the Skinwalker.
Oh, the
Gonna party with
Skinwalker.
the Skinwalker. I gotta go party with Jared Vega, the Skinwalker. Gotta put that in there.
How can we forget? Shout out to the Skinwalker as always here. Whatever Nathan Palawood is in booth 200. Congratulations, man. Go party hard.
Thank you. Yep, you too.
Yeah, will do.
Wow.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's a great mindset to have. Just come out here and have fun, and you know what? As soon as he did that, the results have followed.
Yeah, I mean, that's we knew it was going to be crazy. We knew it was going to be wild. A lot of great racing throughout the race, and then, of course, at the end, we got the classic Venom Truck Series fireworks here at Daytona. Unbelievable stuff.
We had 4 drivers split hard charger tonight. Will Salamone, Jan Van Leer, Corey Rutherford, and Zach Lockett all went up 16 spots from where they started. So great drives for them. I mean, there were so many drivers that had great nights that did not get the finish that they deserved. That's super speedway racing. Kyle Zittel, Austin Holyfield, Steve Roman, I guess Roman finished 12th, so that's all in all not too bad. But Zittel and Holyfield in particular, and Ryan Dye as well, sort of the ones that jump off the page right at you. So they'll be looking for a bounce back next week. They'll have to try and find it at Watkins Glen, but not just Watkins Glen. For the first time, it's the boot layout of Watkins Glen next week for the Venom Truck Series. So maybe we'll see you back here in 7 days for that. I would recommend doing that, absolutely. But Matt Williamson, what do you want to say to wrap up the night here in Daytona?
Well, I don't think you want to miss next week. We've been kind of hoping to get a race at Watkins Glen with the boot for a while now, and the good folks at the Venom Truck Series have finally graced us with it, so that should be very interesting. But want to give a shout-out to everybody chatting here with us tonight. Very active in the chat, so thank you so much to those of you that were watching here with us tonight. Also want to mention Corey Rutherford down here in the chat says, Work in Progress will be leading the team points.
All right.
Yeah, the team aspect of this got shaken up quite a bit here in the first race. A lot of the drivers on the teams that were leading the points last season, they did not finish very well, so that'll shake up the team points for sure. Shout out to Oz Kanar, Stickers McQueen, Rodney, Matney, Chloe Teixeira. Who else was in here? Eddie V, John K at JK Gaming. I think I got everybody. Oh, Melissa Reynolds. How could I forget cheering on Nathan Reynolds? So thank you to you guys for watching. Very much appreciated as always. And glad to have you all back for Season 7 of the Venom Truck Series.
So, between now and next week for Week 2 at the Watkins Glen Boot, tomorrow night, it's the ASRL Southern Shores Realty Sports Car Championship live for the very first time on Turn 200 from Big Willow. Yes, Willow Springs plays host to 2 races tomorrow night. Thursday night for Maximum Velocity Racing League, we are at Sonoma. Then Sunday for the Porsche Mission R Challenge, it's a Matt Williamson solo venture, and it is from Bathurst. And then on Monday night for Truck 200, it's 200 laps around the Milwaukee Mile. So lots of exciting stuff between now and next Tuesday, where, of course, we've already said it, but the Watkins Glen Boot layout, do not miss it. That is round number 2 of the season, and it is going to be spectacular. We didn't lay out the full schedule for you here for Season 7, but it is wild, top to bottom. It is going to be a wild ride, and it kicked off in a wild way here tonight. So we want to thank each and every one of you for coming out and supporting the Venom Truck Series and us here on Turn 200. Think about hitting the subscribe button on your way out of the stream here tonight. And that way you'll know exactly when we are going live for all the great racing action we have here on the channel. Until we meet again, for everybody with the Venom Truck Series, for the GOAT, Mr. Matt Williamson, I'm Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we say so long from the virtual World Center of Racing, where Nathan Paluota finally gets his first career Venom Truck Series win at the Rocketman Memorial 85. Have a good night, everybody.